You're in a relationship, but something feels off. She's physically there, but emotionally distant. You feel like you're competing with a ghost, and you're starting to realize she's not over her ex. She's with you, but she's still in love with him. And every day you stay is another day you're being used as a placeholder while she heals from someone else. By the end of this video, you'll know the 5 dark signs that she's still in love with her ex, not you. These aren't about paranoia or insecurity. These are behavioral patterns that reveal emotional unavailability and unresolved feelings. Sign 1. She compares you to her ex constantly. You're always measured against him. When someone is over their ex, that person rarely comes up in conversation. When they're not over their ex, comparisons are constant, sometimes favorable, sometimes not, but always present. If she's constantly measuring you against him, my ex used to do it this way, my ex never did that, you're so different from him, she's not over him. Every story involves my ex. Casual conversations somehow always circle back to her ex. My ex and I used to, or when I was with my ex, she brings him up without prompting or relevance. People who've moved on rarely reference past relationships unprompted. Constant mentions means he's constantly on her mind. She compares your actions, choices, decisions to his. He would have done it differently, or he never forgot things like this. Favorable or unfavorable comparisons both reveal attachment. You feel like you're being graded on his curve. Comparison means the past relationship is her reference point. If he's her measuring stick, he's still her emotional focus. She tells you how different you are from him. You're nothing like my ex, said repeatedly. Emphasizes differences as if defining herself against that relationship. The fact that she needs to establish differences shows he's her baseline. Moved on people don't need to compare. They're present with you. And she defends him when you criticize. If you say anything negative about her ex, she gets defensive, justifies his behavior, or explains why things weren't his fault, protects his reputation even after they've broken up. Defensiveness reveals lingering loyalty and attachment. People defend those they still have feelings for. Why this reveals unresolved feelings? You can't constantly reference someone you're over. Comparison means he's the standard. You're being evaluated against him. Whether comparisons favor you or him, both show he's her focus. Emotional availability means being present, not comparative. 3 months into dating Sarah, Jake realized every conversation involved Sarah's ex. Cooking dinner, my ex was an amazing cook. Planning a trip, my ex and I went there. It was incredible. Watching a movie, my ex loved this director. Jake tried to ignore it, but he felt evaluated. Once, Jake made a joke about Sarah's ex being not that great if she left him. Sarah got defensive. He wasn't bad, we just wanted different things. Jake realized Sarah was physically with him, but emotionally still with her ex. Every comparison, every mention, every defense revealed Sarah hadn't moved on. Jake was dating someone unavailable, competing with a memory he couldn't beat. Jake ended it. Sarah protested that she was over her ex, but her behavior said otherwise. 6 months later, Jake learned Sarah had gotten back with her ex. Sarah had never been over him. Jake had just been the placeholder. So track mentions. Note how often her ex comes up. Pattern reveals preoccupation. Call it out. I've noticed you bring up your ex a lot. Are you over him? Watch her response. Does she become aware and stop, or defensive and justify? Don't compete. You shouldn't have to compete with someone who's not even there. Sign 2. She's still in contact with him and it feels inappropriate. Some exes remain friends healthily after breakups, but it's rare and it requires both parties being fully over the relationship. If she's in regular contact with her ex and it makes you uncomfortable, trust your instincts. If they text frequently, have inside jokes you're not part of, meet up alone, or she's secretive about their communication, she's maintaining emotional intimacy that should be reserved for you. They text or talk regularly, daily or frequent communication with her ex. She tells you they're just friends, but it feels off. The frequency suggests ongoing emotional connection. People who are over exes don't need constant contact. Regular communication maintains emotional bond. She's secretive about their communication. She hides her phone when texting, angles screen away, gets defensive when you ask about their conversations, deletes message threads or downplays frequency. Secrecy indicates she knows the contact is inappropriate. If it was innocent, she'd be transparent. They still meet up alone. Coffee, lunch, catching up. They spend time together. You're not invited or informed until after. She frames it as innocent, but you feel uncomfortable. Healthy ex-friendships include current partners. Unhealthy ones exclude them. Transparency versus secrecy in ex-contact, very different things. And she prioritizes his needs or feelings. When her ex needs something, she's immediately available. She talks about his problems, supports him emotionally. You feel like she cares more about his feelings than yours. If she's still his emotional support, she's still emotionally invested. Emotional availability to ex means emotional unavailability to you. Why this is a red flag? Maintaining close contact with exes prevents moving forward. Emotional intimacy with ex competes with intimacy with you. If she won't create distance, she's not ready for new relationship. Healthy boundaries with exes are necessary for new relationships. Marcus noticed his girlfriend Emma was always texting someone and smiling. When Marcus asked who, Emma said, "Just a friend." Later, Marcus learned it was Emma's ex. Emma insisted they were just friends, nothing to worry about. But Emma texted her ex daily, met him for coffee occasionally, and got defensive when Marcus expressed discomfort. Once, Emma's ex called late at night needing to talk. Emma took the call in another room for 45 minutes. Marcus felt invisible. He asked Emma to create boundaries. Emma refused. "He's my friend. You're being controlling." Marcus realized Emma was maintaining an emotional relationship with her ex that competed with their relationship. Emma wasn't available because she was still invested elsewhere. Marcus ended it. Emma was shocked, but Marcus knew he couldn't be in a relationship with someone whose ex was still a priority. Months later, Emma got back with her ex. Marcus had been the placeholder all along. So trust your gut. If contact feels inappropriate, it probably is. Express concerns. "Your relationship with your ex makes me uncomfortable." Require boundaries. "I need you to reduce contact or include me." Watch her response. Willingness to compromise versus defensiveness reveals priorities.
Sign 3. She won't delete photos or get rid of his stuff. Living in the past. People who've moved on don't surround themselves with reminders of their ex. If months into your relationship she still has photos of them together displayed, his belongings in her apartment, or refuses to remove visible reminders, she's holding on to the relationship emotionally. While it's normal to not immediately purge everything, continuing to keep visible reminders suggests she's not ready to fully close that chapter. Photos of them together are still displayed. Pictures on walls, desk, social media profile. She hasn't taken down couple photos months after breakup. You feel like you're existing in a shrine to their relationship. Displaying ex photos signals unwillingness to move forward. Visual reminders maintain emotional connection. His belongings are still in her space. His clothes in her closet, his toothbrush in bathroom, his items around apartment, gifts from him prominently displayed. She hasn't cleared him out of her physical space. Keeping ex's possessions indicates hope for return or inability to let go. People who've moved on reclaim their space. She refuses to remove these reminders. You've mentioned discomfort with visible reminders. She gets defensive or makes excuses for keeping them. "These are my memories," or "it doesn't mean anything." Refusal to remove reminders shows prioritizing past over present. Slow processing versus active preservation of ex relationship. There's a difference. And social media is still full of their relationship. Hasn't archived or deleted couple photos from Instagram, Facebook. Relationship milestones and memories publicly visible. She won't remove tags or update relationship status. Social media preservation maintains public connection to X. Public relationship remnants signal private emotional attachment. Why this matters? Physical reminders prevent psychological closure. Inability to clear space indicates inability to move forward. If she won't make room for you physically, she hasn't emotionally. Creating new space requires releasing old space. When Chris started staying at his girlfriend Mia's apartment, he noticed pictures of Mia and her ex everywhere. On her bookshelf, her fridge, her desk. His jacket still hung in her closet. His coffee mug was still in her cabinet. After 2 months, Chris gently mentioned it felt weird being surrounded by evidence of her past relationship. Mia got defensive. "That was part of my life. I'm not erasing my history." Chris understood not wanting to erase the past, but keeping a shrine felt different. 3 months in, nothing had changed. Chris felt like a guest in someone else's story. When Chris pushed harder, Mia admitted, "I'm not ready to put those things away. They're important to me." Chris realized Mia wasn't ready to move on. She was clinging to her past relationship while trying to have a new one. Chris ended it. Mia needed to heal and let go before she could be available for someone new. Chris wasn't going to wait while living in her ex's shadow. So, notice the environment. What reminders are present months into relationship? Gently raise concerns. "I feel uncomfortable with this specific reminder." Give reasonable timeline. "I understand processing takes time, but eventually." Watch for movement. Does she gradually remove things or defensively keep them? Sign 4. She brings him up when she's emotional or drunk. The truth comes out. When emotional barriers are down, during arguments, when drinking, late at night when defenses drop, the truth emerges. If she brings her ex during these vulnerable moments, calls him when drunk, cries about the breakup when emotional, or says his name by accident, she's revealing where her heart really is. She mentions him when drunk. A few drinks in and she starts talking about her ex, gets emotional, sad, or angry about the breakup when inhibitions lower. Alcohol reveals what sobriety suppresses. When defenses drop, true feelings emerge. Drunk honesty reveals sober reality. She cries about him or the breakup. Months into your relationship, she still cries about losing him, gets triggered by songs, places, memories, and becomes emotional. The grief is fresh even though time has passed. Ongoing grief indicates unprocessed loss and attachment. If she's still crying about him, she's not over him. She calls or texts him when drunk. You discover drunk calls or texts to her ex. When inhibitions are lowered, she reaches out to him. She may not remember or downplay it later. Drunk dialing reveals who's actually on her mind. One slip versus repeated pattern, very different. And during arguments, she compares or references him. When you fight, she says things like, "My ex would never," uses him as a weapon in arguments. Angry truth-telling reveals he's her reference point. In conflict, people reveal authentic feelings. If she references him, he's present. Emotional moments reveal emotional truth. Why vulnerable moments matter? Defenses drop when drunk, emotional, or in conflict. What emerges reveals authentic preoccupations. If X emerges during vulnerability, he's her unresolved business. Consistent vulnerability-based mentions indicate persistent attachment. Tyler and his girlfriend Jen had been together 4 months. Generally, things seemed good, but Tyler noticed a pattern. Every time Jen drank, she got sad and mentioned her ex. At parties, after a few drinks, Jen would tear up. "I just miss him sometimes." During one argument, Jen yelled, "My ex would have actually listened to me." One night, Jen got very drunk, and Tyler found her crying while texting her ex. The next morning, Jen barely remembered and brushed it off. But Tyler saw the pattern. When Jen's guard was down, her ex was who she thought about. Sober Jen said she was over him. Drunk, emotional, vulnerable Jen revealed the truth. She wasn't. Tyler realized he was dating someone who was faking availability, while drunk Jen revealed the truth. Tyler ended it. Jen needed to actually process her breakup before being available for someone new. Tyler wasn't going to be the placeholder while she healed from someone else. So, pay attention to patterns. Does her ex appear during emotional vulnerability? Don't dismiss drunk behavior. Drunk words are sober thoughts. There's truth there. Address it directly. When you're vulnerable, you bring up your ex. Are you over him? Watch for defensiveness or denial. Minimizing is a red flag. Before we get to the final sign, if this video helped you see a painful truth you've been avoiding, hit that subscribe button. We give men the hard truths they need to hear about relationships. Now let's talk about the last and most important sign.
Sign 5. She's not fully present or invested in your relationship, emotionally checked out. The most revealing sign she's still in love with her ex isn't what she does, it's what she doesn't do. She doesn't talk about the future with you. She's not fully invested. She seems emotionally distant or unavailable. She doesn't introduce you to important people. The relationship feels surface level or temporary. When someone's heart is elsewhere, they can't fully invest in what's in front of them. She won't talk about the future, avoids any conversation about long-term plans. Let's just see where it goes is her constant refrain. You can't get commitment or clarity about where the relationship is headed. Emotional unavailability prevents future planning. Can't plan future when heart is in the past. She's emotionally distant or guarded. Walls are up. You can't get deep emotional access. Conversations stay surface level. She won't be vulnerable or share deeply. Emotional guardedness protects unhealed wounds. If she won't let you in, someone else still occupies that space. She doesn't integrate you into her life, hasn't introduced you to friends, family, important people. You're kept separate from her real life. The relationship exists in a bubble. Integration requires commitment. She's not committed. Slow introduction versus active separation, very different. And the relationship feels temporary. You sense she's not building something, she's passing time. She doesn't invest effort, energy, or emotion. You feel like you could disappear and she'd be fine. If you feel temporary, you probably are. Unavailable people create temporary connections. Why this is the biggest tell? Everything else is symptoms. This is the disease. Emotional unavailability is the core issue. She can't give you what she hasn't taken back from him. Can't be fully present when emotionally living in the past. 6 months into dating Rachel, David felt like something was missing. Rachel was kind, physically affectionate, they had fun together, but David felt emotional distance. Rachel wouldn't talk about the future. Rachel hadn't introduced David to her friends or family. When David tried to have deep conversations, Rachel deflected. David felt like Rachel was going through the motions of a relationship without actually being in one. David finally asked, "Are you over your ex?" Rachel paused. "I think so. I don't know. I'm trying." David appreciated the honesty, but realized Rachel was trying to move on by dating him, but her heart wasn't available. Rachel was using David to heal from someone else. David ended it. Rachel protested, but David knew he couldn't build something real with someone whose emotional real estate was occupied. Rachel needed to actually heal before she could be available. David wasn't willing to be the placeholder while that happened. So trust the feeling of distance. Your instincts are usually right. Ask directly, do you feel fully present in this relationship? Observe investment level. Does she invest effort, time, emotion? Notice future talk. Does she include you in her future or avoid it? If you're recognizing these signs and wondering if she's not just hung up on her ex, but actually settling for you because she can't have him, watch our video on the 5 signs your partner is settling for you, not choosing you.
Understanding the difference between being chosen and being settled for could change everything. Links in the description. Being with someone who's still in love with their ex is one of the most painful relationship experiences because you're present but they're not. You're giving everything while competing with a ghost. These 5 dark signs, constant comparison, inappropriate contact, physical reminders, vulnerable moments revealing truth, and emotional unavailability all point to the same reality. Her heart is still with him, not you. And every day you stay is another day you're being used as a distraction, a rebound, a placeholder while she processes feelings for someone else. You deserve someone who's fully available, fully present, and choosing you, not someone whose heart is somewhere else. Look honestly at your relationship. Does she constantly compare you to her ex? Is she still in regular contact with him? Are reminders of him still everywhere? Does she mention him when emotional or drunk? Is she emotionally distant and unavailable? If you recognized 3 or more signs, you're not her priority, her ex is. And you need to decide, are you going to stay and compete with a memory, or walk away and find someone who's actually available? You know what you deserve. The question is, will you demand it? If this video helped you see a painful truth you've been avoiding, subscribe to this channel. We give men the hard truths they need to hear about relationships. Drop a comment telling me which sign you recognized, or if you stayed with someone not over their ex, share what finally made you leave. Your story might save another guy from wasting his time. You're not paranoid. You're not insecure. You're not overthinking it. Your gut is telling you the truth. She's not over him, and trying to make it work with someone emotionally unavailable will destroy you. Walk away. Let her heal. Find someone who's actually ready for you. Someone whose past is past, whose present is with you, and whose future includes you. Don't waste your life being second place in someone's heart. You deserve to be first.